What I have here is 2 chunks of cherry. They're 6 by 6 and they're 2 5/8 thick. There's one here and there's one here. And I have a 3/4 inch piece of the same wood in between there as a spacer. And I have it glued inside of approximately that circle against that 3/4 board. And I hot glued the edges. Have a little dab of glue in the corners, but I don't have it all the way down in here, so I put some hot glue on it. I'm going to turn a 2-axis bowl, and we'll see how it turns out. I have it on a worm screw. I've seen this done and the spur centers used, but I thought have it laid out carefully. I drilled a hole for the worm screw here and in there, so I'm going to try it. And I have my tailstock up against it. So let's get it all set up and turn this round. I had to stop for something, so I went ahead and took it off and bandsawed the corners away. Now we'll get it round pretty easy. Looking good. That's going to clean up. So whether this will go away or not, I think it will. So that's still big. We're going to blend everything away from there. It's a little high in the middle. Let's see how that scrapes. I can just blend it in with that. Alright, I'm ready to sand it. And what I'm going to do is take this piece of plywood with a nice straight edge, and I have black crayon on it. And I'm going to look for little high spots, and I'll start by sanding on those. I can see that quite well. So that's as exciting as it's going to get, so I'll go ahead and do this and get it sanded up nice and smooth, and I'll come back when I have it flipped 90 degrees. Alright, I have flipped it 90 degrees from what it was, and now it's a matter of doing the same thing, turning this, and I want to establish the length across here to be the same as this across this way. And when I started, I said it was a 2-axis, but it's really a 3-axis turning. We have the first one this way, and we have the second one, and then we're going to flip the pieces and make a bowl. So it's a 3-axis turning. So let's get started. About the same thing, 725 RPMs. see where we're at. So that diameter, that's real heavy there. That's just about right on right here. I'll get this marked so I don't cut any more off of that and clean this up, and we'll have us a little square. So to finish flattening this out, I'm just going to use the sander here, and with all the airspace it's hard to sand it under power any way I try to do it, so this is how I'm going to sand it. So with that nice flat grain there, that sands right out, and that's it. I'll finish the rest of the sanding and we'll take it apart and rechuck it for the third axis cut. Alright, let's see if we can get it apart. On this spacer board I ground some little reliefs in there for little, I call them for pry bars, but I'm going to use it for a wedge. Okay, so the reason it come apart fairly easy is I put paper in between the joint as well. So the paper just ripped apart, and we got a nice piece. This is a good way to keep from splitting your wood, and that'll come off easy enough. So we have one. I already put that hole in there. Now we'll see how accurate this turned out. I should be able to just put it on here, flatten that off, and figure out how I'm going to grab it. Well, apparently when I adjusted my camera, I didn't get the screw tight, and it managed to pivot downwards, and you're only seeing a portion of the turning. But I'll fix that in a second. I don't know if that first part was in the camera or not. I think it slid on its own and went out of sight. So I'll finish flattening this off. Don't really want to take any more than that off. I'm getting in. Here's a little better view of the recess that I cut in here, and unfortunately my camera decided to tilt downwards while I was doing it, and I didn't see it. So that's what we have, and this is going to be the base, and I may adjust that later. So let me get this set up here in the chuck, and we will see if we can turn a bowl in it. We'll see how flat this is and how well it runs. It runs good, and I think it's pretty flat. So let me get a gouge and we will do that. Let's start out with a 5/8 bowl gouge, and we will see how this cuts. Okay, I've set my little depth gauge to leave about maybe a ½ inch for the bottom, and I now have about an inch. So let's clean this top edge up and then go deeper. got about a 1/16. So let's use the negative rake scraper, clean that bottom up and get that smooth. The rest of it's really nice. You know what I'm thinking is to lean that top edge down just a little bit. Let's try that. Oh. Well, I like this a lot more than I thought I would. I like that edge. Alright, here's how I'm going to sand it. With the 2-inch disc should work fine. And I'm not so sure I'll do that under power or not. And I'll work up to 400 grit on it. Start with 80 and I'll just show you that part. It's about 500. I'll just test this and see. Well, so it's probably do that. Bring that closer to 600. Okay, that worked good. Okay, I'll be back when this one's time to get finish on it. All sanded to 400, and I'm going to put the finish on it now. And I'm going to use a shellac based sanding sealer, and then I'll finish it with shellac. So I'm going to rub at least 1 or probably 2 coats into it, and then we'll get the shellac on it. So that's all I do is rub this on. So there's 1 coat, and I'll come back when everything is all done. So right here I'm making that recess look more like a base. Okay, they're both done, and I'm happy with how they turned out. I also think this is one of the easier multiple axis turnings to do. Mostly because it's like turning 2 cylinders. I didn't originate this idea. I saw a video by the Missouri Woodturner Club, and they had a demonstrator, and his name is Jerry McMaster, and he was showing how to do it. He referred to it as a double axis turning, but it's actually a triple axis turning. You have the x-axis going this way, you have the y-axis, and then you have the z-axis. Starting with the x-axis, turn a cylinder this way, turn it to the y-axis and turn a cylinder this way, and then the z-axis will go in like that, and you turn it that way. What you end up with is this. Here's your 2 x and y axis, and then you turn the bowl, which is the z-axis. Pretty simple. I did do something different than what he did. He used a fixture to hold it this direction while he turned the bowl. I used a hole for my worm screw, put it on the worm screw, cut a recess in here, then I flipped them and turned the bowl section. And then I put it in the coal jaws and finished the bottoms off. I think this is the prettier of the two because it has this nice feature in here, which comes from this knot, which is very pretty. This one was kind of thin, so I elected to put a little walnut disc in it and make that the bottom. This one, I finished off the recess and made it look like a bottom. Both were finished with shellac sanding sealer and shellac. I also let the edge hang over instead of being flat. I think it gives that a nicer look. I think that's my favorite one. I like it a lot. So these were a lot of fun to make. I enjoyed making them, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so. And for those of you who are, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment. I read them all. Also, share the video. It really does help it to get more views. Thanks again, and until the next time, see you later.